Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living with me, Mark Candelaria. I'm an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I'm the founder and now a partner of a fabulous 25-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and now Napa over the last 20 years, and in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all of the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go.
Okay, welcome to Inspiring Living. Today is a very special day for me. It's my 59th birthday. I'm starting my 60th lap around the sun. And I thought we'd just have a little fun with a few very special people in my life today. I've got my mom, I've got my dad, I've got my mother-in-law. I'm going to have Isabel and my oldest daughter, Tiffany. So they're all going to share a little bit about my birthday and their thoughts, and we're going to have a little fun here today. So I appreciate all listening in, and thank you so much for all the great birthday wishes I got this weekend. They've been fantastic, and you guys are all the best. So thank you so much. I'm very blessed, and I'm really blessed to have these people in my living room here today. I've got my mom sitting here next to my dad. My mom's got the mic and the headphones on. My dad will pipe in when he can, as long as my mom hands him the mic and holds it close so we don't lose the audio. I've got my mom here, Karin Candelaria. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, Mark. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You sound perfect.
Good.
See? So I thought I'd better start this whole story with my mom, because obviously that's where this story started. And my dad probably had something to do with that too, and he's sitting here. So Mom, let's go back to October 13th, 1960. And you two are living in Denver, near the Capitol, right?
Right.
In an apartment that my oldest daughter, Tiffany's boyfriend, actually rented 50-some years later.
Yes.
How weird is that? What are the odds of that, right? So anyway, I was born in October 1960, and you and Dad were hanging out that day, and I think it was the World Series was going on, right?
It was.
Game 7, right?
I think it was. Yes.
I think it was Game 7.
The last game.
Right, the last game. So what's happening, Mom? Tell me what. Take us back to 1960.
Well, it was a beautiful fall day in Denver, and we were watching the World Series. Your dad was always into baseball, and so we had to watch it. It was an exciting game. And
Pirates and Yankees, if I remember right.
Yes.
Not that I remember it, but you've told me the story.
And I was supposed to have you were supposed to be born a month before that.
Well, okay, so let me take you there. So I was supposed to be born on September 20th, which is Isabel's birthday, and she was supposed to be born on October 13th, which is my birthday.
Right.
Right? Okay, so now keep going.
So when I started to have some little pains, little twinges, I knew it was going to be time. And but the game was so exciting, and I wasn't ready to go to the hospital yet. So we waited and watched the game. And then it got a little bit hairy, where I told your dad, I think we better go. And he said, let's wait a minute. There's one more out, and then it'll be over.
Right.
Well, we stayed and watched it, and it was Bill Mazeroski.
Bill Mazeroski from the
hit
Pittsburgh
a home
Pirates,
run
right?
from the Pittsburgh Pirate. Hit a home run, and that won.
It was
World
a walk-off
Series.
home run.
Okay, I don't remember exactly because I was getting a little bit nervous.
Dad remembers it.
And right after that, we went to the hospital.
Yeah.
And you weren't born until 10:04 that night.
That night. So I just barely made it on the 13th.
Right.
Yeah. And that was kind of a rough go-around for you from what you've told me.
Yes, it was a very rough go-round.
So tell me about that a little bit.
Well, I had a little bit of problem with contractions. They wouldn't stop.
Right.
So I was in severe pain. So they had to give me medication to settle me down. Or I finally got enough medication where I was unconscious.
Yeah.
And you weren't born until 10:04. We got to the hospital, I guess it was around 5 o'clock or so in the evening.
Yeah.
And when I woke up, I was very drowsy. I had a really hard time waking up, and I was real weak. Apparently, I had lost a lot of blood, so
Right.
they had me hooked up to a table, and I had straps to hold me down because apparently I wanted to pull out all my IVs and everything. So I woke up and I had a really sore throat, and later on they explained that to me. The people standing all around my bed and everything, and I looked up, and the first thing they said, "You know what you had?" And I panicked because I thought something happened to the baby. But I was still a little bit under, so I screamed, and I was trying to get up, and they had me strapped. That's when I noticed I was really strapped.
Yeah.
And then I lost a lot of blood, so I had to have a blood transfusion. And we stayed in the hospital for 5 days, and then they sent me home. And you had a little bit of problem with digestion.
And I still do.
Yeah, and I couldn't nurse because they gave me so many drugs that
Right.
every time you tried, you
It
would
was rough.
vomit.
It was rough. So we'll
It
get
was
into
rough.
the details of all
Yeah,
that. but-
and so anyway, we ended up, you started, I had a wonderful pediatrician who helped me every
Dr.
step of the
McDonald.
way. And when somebody was sick, he always would check the whole family.
yeah, he was great.
He was absolutely wonderful.
So as I was growing up as a young boy, my story always was that Dad would go to the Bronco games, and you would drag us around to model homes.
Yes, but a lot of times I would drag him too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he would come too. And yes, we did. We went to all the home openings and everything, and then we bought a new home ourselves.
Right.
And from then on, it was every year we had parade of homes, and that's where we went.
Right. And that was always what inspired me to kind of become an architect. I'd go see those model homes, and I'd go, "Wow, this is so cool!" And I'd come back and draw them and build models out of Legos, and that's kind of how I started as an architect.
Yes, and Lincoln Logs.
And Lincoln Logs, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of my first projects for Candelaria Design was a Lincoln Log project for Patrick Murphy.
You're right.
How ironic
You're right.
was that, right?
Yep.
So all that Lincoln Log training went into good practice, so that was good. So you raised me and my brother,
Right.
and we lived in North Glen, Colorado for many years, and then we moved to Durango, Colorado, which was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Dad worked for the railroad down there, the steam locomotives in Durango, took over Grandpa Bernie's position,
Right.
and went to high school in Durango, and we had some good times there, didn't we?
Wonderful times. Did
Yeah.
a lot of camping. Grandparents were still alive. They used to love to go fishing and camping, and we
Yep.
did that. Did all the lakes.
Yeah, we had a lot of good family memories and experiences there for sure. And my brother still lives there. He's a federal judge in Durango. And so we still make it up there. At least I make it up there once in a while. I was just there a few weeks ago, and it's changed a little bit, but it's still pretty much the same.
It is. It's
Yep.
beautiful and green and
Right. So
cold.
your story is very interesting, Mom, and we're going to have a whole separate podcast on how in the hell you got to Durango originally, which kind of blows everybody away when we tell them that story. But that's, like I say, that's a podcast in itself. So what has been so rewarding, or maybe not so rewarding? What's been your experience with the two boys that you had?
Those were very active years. You were a really active child.
That's hard
You
to
were-
imagine, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'd
and
be
you
active?
were interested in everything.
Huh.
You loved to be outdoors. We used to do a lot of camping and just driving up to the mountains, looking for rocks, bringing back a bunch of rocks for our yard and all that. But you were always interested. You were also very politically interested.
Yeah, that's right. I
Every
remember that.
4th of July, we had to have little flags in our flower beds in front of the house and the flag out and
I was
everything.
the class president in 7th grade.
Yes.
Had a big campaign, drew all my posters myself. I won because my posters were so good looking. That's what I found out.
Yeah, and when you were in junior high in Durango, you made their football team spirit button.
Oh, I
There
forgot about that. That was at junior high Northglenn, actually.
Yes, it was a contest that they
Yeah,
had,
forgot
and your
about that.
button won.
That's right.
And they used that logo as their logo for
Yep.
their school,
Yep.
which was interesting too.
Yep. So then we had the good times in Durango, and then you guys moved to Denver. I moved to Phoenix, and I've been here since 1979, and kept saying, you guys got to move to Phoenix. You got to move to Phoenix. And we finally got you here, what, about 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
5 years
5
ago.
years ago. And how do you like it here?
We love it. It's kind of a relaxing thing when it comes to the weather because you don't really
Have to worry
notice
about
the
it.
changes of the season, you
Right.
know. But I do miss the green. Sometimes I miss a nice cool rain shower.
Yeah.
But most of the time I love to get up every morning and see the sunshine.
It's pretty nice, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and you can drive anywhere, anytime.
Not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, no, it's been great having you and Dad here, and we get together on Sundays quite often for family dinners, and I love that. So
Oh, we do too.
it's fantastic. So I just want to say, Mom, that both you and Dad, I know Dad's sitting over here to the side, you two have been the most wonderful parents. I've had so much fun with both of you over all the years, and really having fun the last 5 years having you here. They've been, I think, some of the best years I can remember.
And that's for us the same.
Yeah, so it's been really nice.
Very
and
nice.
I know we got my brother and his family coming down here for Thanksgiving, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
too.
so the thing that I'm kind of at in my point in life now is just how precious every single day and every single moment is, you know?
Yes, and we feel so blessed that we are able to be here and participate and see you
Yeah.
in your life and your children.
Yeah.
And
you
it's
just had your 80th birthday
I just had
last
my
month,
80th.
and Dad's 85th is coming up.
Yes,
So that's pretty darn good. You guys do really well, I think.
we try.
Yeah,
We
you're
try.
trying, and thank God Alette is kind enough to drive you guys up here all the time from
That is
Maricopa.
a big help
So
for us.
that's really nice because
Yeah.
then I can have a couple old fashions with Dad when he comes over, and he doesn't have to worry about driving.
That's right.
So
Yeah, we really, really appreciate that.
well, thank you for sharing my birthday with me today. This has been great.
We love you,
We
and
love you
it's
too.
wonderful, and we feel very blessed to have you.
Well, we feel the same way. So thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome.
Okay, that was fun talking to my mom. My mom is great, and we're going to have her on some more podcasts here. She's got plenty of stories to tell all of us that truly will inspire you for sure. And then I've got another lady here who is also equally inspiring to me, and she happens to be my mother-in-law, actually my third mother-in-law in my life, but my favorite mother-in-law by far. So I've got Isabel's mother here, Alette Thomson. Welcome.
Thank you. And I'm glad I'm your favorite.
Oh, you're my favorite by a long, long stretch. Not that the other ones weren't that bad. Let's put it that way. But Alette, you are my favorite by far. I mean,
thank
there's
you.
no
Thank you.
comparison. You've been so nice to Isabel and I. You've done so much, especially for your daughter. But you do a lot for me, and we won't get into the details of what you do for us. But let's just say she covers a lot of ground around our house. Let's just put it that way. My drawers are always well stocked.
I try to be helpful in small ways.
Yeah, you do a great job. So you're a fascinating lady. I think you're 71, and you've got lots of energy. I mean, you're all over the place. You travel. You're working in Isabel's store. You're over here doing things. I think you're a pretty amazing lady. You're writing cookbooks. You're writing family books about your family history. You've got a lot going on.
I do. I just finished a book on my mom's family, about 150 pages.
Wow.
And I'm sharing it with all the cousins, and they're pretty excited about getting their copy.
So a few birthdays in those histories, I'm sure.
All the way back to 1390.
Wow, that's tracing things back a long way. So I'm glad you're here to celebrate my birthday today. You baked my favorite cake, and I guess my mom. You guys didn't communicate. You guys kind of didn't, but now I've got 2 German chocolate cakes.
Yes.
So I'm set for a while here. I just lost 10 pounds, but I think I'm gonna probably gain it back by Tuesday. But that's okay. I'll have fun doing it.
Well, we said we're giving you a lot of motherly love.
Oh, that's nice. I get a lot of motherly love too, don't I? I have a lot of women in my life.
You do. More than the average guy.
More than the average. My 3 business partners are women. I have 3 daughters. I've had 3 mother-in-laws, but you're my favorite. I've got my mom. I've got Isabel. Even my cat is a female cat.
Right. You're surrounded by women.
Whew. No wonder I don't have any hair left, right? So
I don't think that we can take the honor of having you have no hair.
Yeah, no, that's not your fault. That's for sure. So you had another son-in-law before, so I'm hoping I'm your favorite son-in-law.
You are.
Yeah?
He was a really great guy, but I think Isabel has been happier with you than I've ever seen her, which makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all that you do for her and for all of us.
Yeah.
You're very giving, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it's easy to give to the people you love, that's for sure. And I just can't get enough time with all of you, as you can tell. I make you drive up here all the time, and we probably need to come visit you more often. So we need to come down that way too. But I've got all the smokers and all the gadgets here, and I'm getting more gadgets for my birthday. So
Right.
Makes it tough. I probably need to get a trailer and just bring everything down to Maricopa with me.
Well, we'll just come to you for a while.
That's good. So, so tell me what else you got going on right now. What's some of your next projects? You just finished the one book. Are you still finishing it?
That book is finished.
That book's finished.
But I'm starting my sister-in-law's family.
Wow.
Because my ultimate goal is to have all of my great nieces and nephews' family histories written.
Holy cow.
And so it's my dad's family, my sister-in-law's family, my niece's husband's family.
Yep.
And that will require going to their ranch over in New Mexico.
Right.
23 miles on a dirt road, pretty remote.
Yeah.
But I think it will be a fun project, learning about the ranch life and what they do.
It's like the pioneer woman, right? They're not too far from there, from what I heard.
They're not too far from there.
Yeah. That's pretty. I've been wanting to go with you guys there. I know we've had some great trips to Santa Fe. And that's where you and Isabel are kind of from, the Espanola, Santa Fe region. And
right.
We love going there together.
We do. We had a great time this summer in Taos.
Yep. So that's right. We had the little adobe that we all hung out in for about a week, and we had a good time up there.
We sure did.
So I'm looking forward to more trips like that. I'm trying to think what else. We went to Florida one time together.
That was fun. The girls had a great time at Disney World, but even more fun at Daytona Beach.
Yeah, we've been up to Park City and Deer Valley.
Park City.
So
I've been to Idaho with you.
Yeah, you went to Idaho with us.
Yes.
So we've had some good times. So we're looking forward to more good times. I know none of us are getting any younger, but I think we're all doing the best to enjoy the time we have together, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're all pretty focused on making today count.
I think so. So thank you for joining me on my birthday.
Well, happy birthday. I hope you have many more.
I hope we all have many more. So thanks again. I love you a great deal.
I love you too.
All right. Okay, I'm going to switch gears now a little bit and move the time frame ahead a few years, quite a few years actually. We were just talking to my mom and about the day I was born and the times growing up. And eventually I did grow up, and I had a wonderful daughter who is now moving back from Denver, ironically, to Phoenix. And she's sitting here today with me. She's in the process of looking for a house with her boyfriend, Josh. And I am so excited to have them move back here. But we're going to go back and talk a little bit about what it was like being a young kid with a starting architect back in the 90s, I guess, right? So I've got my daughter here, Tiffany Candelaria.
Hi, Dad.
What do you think of this?
This is cool.
It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, this is awesome.
You were born December 1st, 1987, and I remember it was a real smoggy day. Not like the day I was born, but it was clear, but it was smoggy. I remember it was really smoggy that day. They had like a pollution alert, and it's probably why you have such trouble breathing.
Probably why I have asthma and allergies.
But you were born, and you were my firstborn. I remember getting pictures and how wonderful it was, and probably one of the best days of my life was the day you were born. I just remember what an amazing experience that was, and so fun, and we brought you home, and you were just always happy, seems like. So you grew up, I'm trying to remember which house we were in at the time. I think it was the one on 15th Place.
Yeah, real briefly.
Yeah, and then we moved over to Clarendon, and that was a nice property. It had a big backyard with pecan trees and fig tree and pear
so
tree.
Awesome.
You pretty much grew up there, right?
Yep.
But
There
then,
in your little apartamento.
yeah, well, that was to say. Then sadly, your mom and I separated and ultimately got divorced, and you were kind of living between two houses, between the house on Clarendon and my little apartment. I had a little one-bedroom apartment for a while, and then we kind of moved up to a two-bedroom apartment, and then we finally got a nice patio home at Point Tapatio. So tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up with Dad.
Well, you and Mom were really different, so it was fun. I got to see both of you every week, and I alternated weekends. So your weekends were way more active
Yeah.
and outdoorsy. We went camping a bunch, and we were always running errands and going to Kinko's to make copies of blueprints. And what else? Just like doing fun stuff,
We're
getting
always
ice
busy,
cream.
huh?
And
Yeah, camping was fun. You and I had some good camping trips. I remember sitting up at
did.
Crown King in the windshield, and just we had to wait for it to stop raining, and we were just trying
sitting in
to
the car.
count raindrops and watch them kind of come down the windshield. I think you remember
Yeah,
that.
they would like pile up and then cascade, and it was like a big like, oh, there it goes.
So see, you guys, it's the little things a lot of times, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, but I used to drag you to a lot of meetings and used to hang out at the office a lot.
Yeah, I was pretty much either at after school care or at your office.
Yep.
Every day after school, and just like drawing and playing under your desk and
Yep.
bothering your coworkers,
Trying to get treats.
scoping out the snack box.
So we had some good times there. And then you went to St. Thomas, and then you grew up and went to Xavier.
Yep, I went to Xavier, and now Sophia just started.
Yep.
And then I went out of state to Portland
Yeah.
because I did not like the desert.
No.
And it's still not my favorite, but I'm coming back for other reasons.
Yeah, so then you graduated from the University of Portland, and then you were here for a short time, but then you moved to Denver.
Yeah, so I came home because I had just graduated, so I needed a job and money. And so I lived here for about 2 years, but I ultimately wanted to move again. I didn't really want to be living here. I just kind of had to. So then I moved to Denver because, I had been going all my life with you to see
Right.
Grandma and Grandpa, and it was so pretty. And, there was more sun than in Portland, so it was a really happy medium, and Grandma and Grandpa were there, and I had a college friend that was moving there, so it worked out really well. We became roommates.
So I think one of the cool stories is where he talked about the fact that your boyfriend Josh lived in the same apartment that my mom and dad first had when they moved to Denver. And then, ironically, your first job was where?
My first job is at the Sheraton Hotel on the 16th Street Mall.
Which is where the Mady
used
and
to
F
be
store.
Mady and F.
And that was
Yeah.
Grandma Karen's first job in 1960.
Her first job in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yep, and it was my first job location in Colorado.
In what year?
2013.
Yeah, so what, 53 years later? Something like that? My math's right? Probably pretty close.
And then I met Josh a year later.
Yep.
And the first time I introduced him to my grandparents, they
We're
were
asking about where you lived.
they were just getting to know each other, and they found out, they lived on the same intersection, and then they found out they lived on the same corner, and then it was the same exact apartment, and then they freaked out.
It's pretty funny how all that works, right?
So weird. Yeah, Josh is like, whoa, I knew when they told me that, it was over.
Right. So now you're getting ready to move back to Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
You guys been
Denver-
house hunting. That's an adventure in and of itself,
Oh my
right?
gosh, it's been so complicated, but a lot of it's just that we don't live here, so this is our only weekend that we've actually been able to look for houses in person.
Yeah, you got one in the hopper. We'll see what happens. There's some contingencies with the roof and a few other things, so we'll
Yeah.
see. But it's tough, isn't it?
It's just so complicated, yeah.
I mean, you heard the
there's so
story
many
about
things.
Grandma and Grandpa's first house in North Glen. They bought the whole house for $13,000.
Well,
Wouldn't that
that's
be
why
nice?
we're moving to Phoenix, because Denver is crazy expensive.
It's gotten crazy there, hasn't it?
So, yeah, so we have to come to the desert.
Yeah. Well, Josh is from Montana, right?
Yep.
So he's going to have to
originally.
adapt to desert life. He's getting into it,
Yeah,
though.
he's into it. He's lived in Colorado since high school, so he's just moving south slowly.
So we had a fun birthday yesterday, didn't you think?
Oh, yeah, you always have a fun everything.
Are you excited to be down here and kind of be a part of all that again?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. It's just you're always doing fun stuff. You're always having like these dinner parties, and even when it's not a party, just a Wednesday night, you're having like a 5-course feast that I would love to be a part of.
So you've been on a couple of my tours. I think, let's see, you've been on 2 Italy tours and 1 Spain tour, if my counting's right. Right?
I think 3 Italys.
3 Italys?
That might have just been the family trip, but
Oh, yeah, and you were on the family trip, the holidays. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you've been on 3 Italy trips, but 2 Italy tours.
yes.
And so what do you think about those tours?
They are like the best of the best, seriously. Like, yeah, you can maybe do it for a little less money, but you are not experiencing nearly the amount of things you guys experience and the
Right.
places you go and how everything's just arranged and it's like seamless. And it's so cool. Like, it's amazing.
So this whole tour thing's kind of caught fire with you now, too. I know you've been doing your little taco and tequila tour in Denver, right?
Yeah, so I work for a company called Local Table Tours. So I
Yep.
do more than just that tour. That tour is just on Thursdays. But yeah, I'm a culinary tour guide.
So I'm assuming you're going to bring some of that over here, and we're going to kind of merge our efforts a little bit and really put this thing on steroids, right?
That would be great.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think that's one of our
fun.
next steps. And Josh and I talking about a food truck, maybe on Saturdays, do a little paella and what was the other thing?
Oh, yeah, Isabel's Waffles.
Paella and Isabel's waffles. And you told me about something the other night, but I can't remember what it was, Josh.
He can't
So,
remember.
He can't remember. It must have been really good.
So good, it's just not the ordinary.
So yeah, so you're going to be here soon. You have to be down here by November, right?
Yeah, our lease is up the 20th. So we're moving next month,
Right.
which is also why we're trying to find a house.
Yeah. So you're in your early 30s, and so what advice would you give to people that are just getting started based on where you are right now? What are some of the things you are learning? Let's just put it that way.
Well, I would say definitely save your money
Right.
because
Find little ways to save money wherever you can.
yeah, and it's really the little things that add up. Like
Yeah.
I don't go to Starbucks and I just, I make stuff at home and
A little sacrifice.
yeah, it's really the little things because we still do trips and bigger things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, just like buy clothes on sale.
Yep.
So yeah, save up and buy property as soon as possible. Instead of
Especially when you're
just-
young, I think. If you can
Yeah.
scrape the money together while you're young and just get something.
Yeah,
Just so your
a
money,
little
your rent's
condo.
not being thrown away.
Exactly.
And it adds up fast. I mean, a little bit of equity adds up very quickly. So-
Yeah, I mean, or else you're going to have to move to a whole nother state.
Yeah, and who knows what Phoenix is going to do. I still think this market's definitely catching on fire. It's not
I
as
think
crazy
so,
as
too.
Denver, but
Phoenix has gotten way cooler.
Yeah.
Like, I really hated it growing up.
not temperature-wise, just
Not temperature
lifestyle-wise.
Yeah. In high school, it was all just like chain restaurants and strip malls
yeah, it's gotten a lot better.
and brown everywhere. And now it's cool. All kinds of great restaurants. There's music venues.
Yeah, we
there's
call it the
amazing
de-brown,
museums.
the de-browning of Phoenix.
Okay, good.
We're doing it in the architecture. We're doing it in the lifestyle. So we're
it's
getting
helping.
it. We're getting there.
I've noticed.
Yep.
Good job.
Well, we're glad to get you back here. I think everyone's going to be
too.
really excited to get to know you and see you at the functions and all the things that we'll be doing together. And so I welcome you home,
Thanks, Dad.
and we're going to have lots of fun, huh?
Yeah, I can't wait. Seriously.
All right. Thanks for being on my podcast today.
Love you.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you, Dad.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so we're going to end this podcast with probably the most special person in my life. Obviously, you already know who I'm talking about, my beautiful wife, Isabel. And we had quite a fun day yesterday, didn't we?
We sure did.
You did some cooking.
I know. Yes, I think I made four enchilada pans.
Yeah.
And
Well, they aren't just enchiladas. They're butternut squash chicken red chili enchiladas.
yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, a little recipe I came up with, inspired by the herb box, but I added the chicken and made it more New Mexico.
Which you're from, New Mexico, so
Yeah,
you have a
I
right to
need
do
that food as bad as you do.
Yeah, so you made that along with calabacitas.
Calabasitas.
Explain what that is. Most people aren't going to have any idea what that is.
I think calabasitas is just squash in Spanish.
Yeah, so but your combination is squash with...
So I do the yellow squash, zucchini, corn, and yesterday, because the enchiladas were a little more spicy, I held back on any green chilies, just so everything could start to kind of even itself out.
Right.
And when I could eat cheese, I would put cheese. So yesterday was really simple. It was just the zucchini, yellow squash, and corn.
Get some onions in there, too.
A little bit of onion.
A little bit
yeah.
of onions. Where'd the juice come from? Was it just from the...
I just always use like a broth, like
Little broth.
chicken broth or...
Right. It was fantastic. And then we topped it off with a whole Instapot full of pinto beans with ham.
Yes, which you did for me because I was so behind. So thank you for doing
It was
that.
good, though, wasn't it? We had...
It was like a total New Mexico fair.
Yeah, we had two big tables, and I'll tell you what, we had such a great time. We sat out there, enjoyed the evening, finished up, cleaned up, and then we went back out on the patio, and we watched the full moon rise over the Camelback Mountain.
Amazing.
And, like, everyone was just sitting there speechless. It was dead quiet for, I would say, 10, 15 minutes while that moon popped up over the
Even your
mountain.
mom was quiet.
Even Mom
Your
was
cute
quiet.
little mom.
Yeah,
She
she
was
was-
totally enthralled with the full moon.
Yeah,
and
we had a little...
it's the harvest moon.
we had
You
Neil
have,
Young-
Like, such a cool time of the year to be born.
Yeah, it is.
And you found all those...
We had the Neil Young
the
Harvest Moon song playing,
and
and his lyrics came up just right as the moon popped up. It was
it
just
was
like,
so beautiful.
it was so cool. So that was a great day. We had so much fun. I thank all my friends who were here. Very special. Mom and Dad, your mom, my oldest daughter, Tiffany, my youngest daughter, Sophia, Tiffany's boyfriend, Josh, a lot of friends from the Italy trips, and it was just a great day.
So good.
So good. But tell you what, that was a nice ending to what was a pretty tough week for you. I mean, you started Monday. We had my office and your office over here for what we called a little gratitude happy hour for them holding down the fort while we were in Italy.
Yes, we did, and we were just getting into it, and the ceramic garden stool that I was sitting on completely collapsed.
And as you were going down to brace yourself with your hands, like a shard went right into your wrist, your left wrist.
Yes, I mean this was a really unfortunate accident. The garden stool had a lattice pattern to it, so it had a lot of cutouts. And then Angelina reminded me after the fact that it had a little crack in it. So really, we should have just been using it as a drink table.
Not a chair.
And instead, I was sitting on it. Yeah, I mean, it probably came in damaged. So I was like, oh, that's cute. I'll take it to the house. You know, it probably came in for a client's order and was damaged. And so I was sitting on it, and just out of nowhere, I was completely enthralled with Vivian talking about Gabby making the wrestling team. I mean, she was
cool.
telling, yeah, it was so great. I was totally enthralled with that conversation. We were really all just settling in and starting to really enjoy each other, and this happened. Now, what I will tell you that I learned from this is that if you want to have good teams work for you as a client, I think it's the Candelaria Earth and Images team. I have to plug that because everybody
Jump to action.
they jumped to action. They had leadership roles right away. We had someone calling 911, someone outside waiting for the ambulance to arrive because our place is a little tricky. We had Johan from your office applying pressure to the wound.
Yeah, he knew exactly what to do. Apparently his father is a doctor, so he got enough training that he knew what he was doing.
I mean, I was trying to just maintain my composure, and of course, being the hostess, I'm trying to just stay completely calm. And I think I may have made a few kind of funny jokes.
Yeah, you were amazing. We're like, is she okay? And meanwhile, our whole patio was covered in blood. I mean, you were bleeding big time.
Yeah, it was a bad wound.
Yeah, so the ambulance showed up, and they immediately put a tourniquet on you, didn't they?
No, I didn't get the tourniquet
To the
until
hospital?
I got to the ER.
Okay. But while you were in the ambulance ride, you had kind of a neat experience.
I did. There were several of them around, and then I think there was maybe just the driver and then the young man who was, watching me in the back and making sure I was okay. And I just was completely calm and totally strong in answering questions. And I think he must have sensed maybe that I had high faith because he asked me, what house of God do you attend here in Phoenix? And I said, well, I go to Unity of Phoenix. And I could tell in his eyes that he knew, that the only thing getting me through that at that point was God. And we just had this wonderful kind of moment there in the ambulance. It was completely, it's like, peace, be still. And we were.
Yeah, it was amazing. I remember then getting to the hospital, and you waited for the doctor. He was on call, but it took him, I don't know, an hour and a half maybe to get there.
I think it was 45 minutes,
Okay.
and he
It seemed like
started.
an hour and a half.
Finally, they were like, okay, we've got the doctor. Now we're just waiting for a room. And I was even pretty calm in there. I think I was
good for a long
maybe
time.
maybe an hour into the tourniquet,
Wow.
and then I started to kind of voice my opinion about what that was like. So.
And then your mom, God bless it, she made it up from Maricopa, and by the time she got there, they were ready to move you right into surgery. And I'll tell you, the doctor, I forget his name. You probably remember his name.
Dr. Odgers.
Odger, yeah.
He was amazing.
He was amazing.
I mean,
Impressive guy. Mm-hmm. So he did the operation, and you were there in the hospital pretty much the full day the next day, and then you were trying to check out around 3, and what happened then?
they had a cyber breach right as I was getting checked out, and nobody had any computers. So the nurses had no idea what kind of medicine they were supposed to be giving anyone. It was just total
my
chaos and confusion. So my mom and we just hung out, and
You were still in your room, right?
yeah, I
So
was
you were
in
lucky
the
you
room.
didn't lose the
and
room.
Yeah, so we just kept resting and talking and
Yep.
doing what we were doing, and then finally, I think about 6:00, they let me out to
I
come
let you go
home.
home. Then you had kind of a cast bandage from your hand all the way up to your elbow almost.
I had a partial cast,
Partial
and it was
cast,
all
yeah.
wrapped up.
Yeah, so you had that, and I think earlier that week, Evelyn from my office, one of my partners, she had her Achilles tendon ruptured. Stacy, who is my assistant, had her, I forget what they call that stuff, how do you say it?
Carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel thing. So she had a brace. So all the women around me had like these bandages and casts on, man. It was a rough
You're
week.
dangerous, baby.
It was nuts, man. So we had the great party yesterday, and then today we went to the doctor, and he removed your cast.
Yeah, he said the wound is healing fine, and
Yeah.
I think the nerves. It sounds promising, the nerve damage. It sounds like over time it'll come back.
Yeah, no, you did. We were pretty lucky,
So-
all in all. I mean, you got a secondary artery. It did sever one tendon that didn't matter.
Yeah, it's like a spare tendon,
Yeah, spare
evidently.
tendon. You got
If
all
you
these
need
other
a-
ones.
if
You have all these other
another-
ones, but
yeah.
that one was the one that got severed.
Yeah, so that was a blessing.
And then no nerve damage.
No, I do have
little bit.
I mean, my half of my pointy finger and middle finger are numb, and part of my palm.
Okay.
But I think it'll come back.
Yeah, I think so. You're a pretty good healer. Trust me, I've seen it, so I know. So we got through this week. We're getting excited. We are off to High Point at the end of this week. We leave Saturday, and we're going to the market.
I can't wait to see all the new stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And
Yeah,
Nika from your office is coming.
Yes, Nika, and I love Nika. You know how much we like to laugh and tell jokes.
Yep, and I'm going to go and check on a really amazing project that we are working on in Greensboro, which is right next to High Point. We got a fantastic project underway there, so I'll get a little work done, but I'm really going to have fun with you guys and get some of that barbecue that I like to have over there in the Carolinas.
There is good barbecue. Are we going?
Barbecue.
Oh no, we're
going to miss it this time.
We're
Our good barbecue
it,
place
yeah.
is in Charlotte, and it's Midtown or
something,
and it's, oh my God, it's
they have
so
a
good.
shirt that I got there that says "Praise the Lord."
Praise the Lord. That's right. Yeah. Praise the Lord. So we'll have fun. We'll do a podcast from High Point. We get there Saturday, and we come back Wednesday. I've got some interesting guests. I got Jason Harris from Furnitureland South and the Design Network. He's the head guy, and so we're going to have him on there. We're going to have Anne-Marie Barton, who's a fabulous interior designer. We're going to have you and Nika, and we'll see who else we might bump into while we're there. We've got a few little surprises possibly while we're there, so it should be fun.
You always do. That's what I love about you.
That's right.
You
And then
keep it interesting.
And then in November 9th, we have the Phoenix Home and Garden home tour, and we're going to be what?
We're serving Prosecco and Pozole.
At the VIP tour.
Yes, we're at the last house, so if you want to see us, you have to get the VIP ticket.
Right, so just go to the Phoenix Home and Garden website, and you will see the link right there. Isabel and I will personally be there serving Pozole and Prosecco. I mean, what a great combo, right? New Mexico and Italy.
Our two favorites.
Our two favorites, all combined in one. So I think that starts around 4 p.m. The tour itself starts earlier in the day, but the VIP tour is at 4 p.m. And we have a fabulous house. It's a whole house makeover that we did together, and wonderful, wonderful clients. And they graciously opened up their house for the tour, and we're gonna have a great time.
I'm so excited, and I love that house. And I mean, we were on the what was the last year we did that? We had the Gages.
Well, that one year we did paella for everybody at the Gages house.
Yeah, and that was super fun.
That was fun. That was at the end of the VIP
was
tour
that
also.
2016?
2016.
Yeah, so it's good to be back.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's a little bit of a rally, right?
Oh yeah, you'll be ready.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Anything about my birthday? What did you think?
Well, I think you're amazing, and you kind of approach life like every day is your birthday.
I kind of do, don't I?
Yeah, you do. You really do. You make the most of it, and I just love how you have such a good spirit of celebration.
Yeah. Well,
like everything is a celebration.
Well, it should be. I think when you wake up and you're awake and you feel halfway decent, you should start celebrating until the end of the day, because you know what? You're damn lucky you've got that day to celebrate in.
Yeah, we're alive.
We're alive. Excuse me. So, I think one of the tough things for me on this birthday was I've got 3 fabulous daughters, and 2 of them were there yesterday with me, my oldest and my youngest. And my middle daughter, who's 17, and we all remember what 17 was like. It is not easy, especially in this day and age with social media and everything else. Well, she's going through some tough stuff, and so I just, I think I kind of wonder sometimes how we did all make it. And those years were tough, weren't they?
I had a tough adolescent period.
Yeah.
I mean, I am really looking back. I'm lucky I'm alive.
Yeah.
And
I think we're all lucky that we're alive.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's that way. I'm an only child, so I have kind of a secluded perspective on things. We have never really been around kids and all of that. But, being around your girls and seeing this time, which is such a fragile time for development, and to see her maybe struggling and not making the best choices, but she has her own life path, you know.
Yeah, we all do. And so 2 of my really best friends out there, Bill and Andra Miller, have they've met Bella before, And they kind of offer, say, hey, I know she's kind of going through a rough time, and, why don't you let her come out to Laguna with us? We'll spend the weekend with her. And God bless them, because Bill Miller, his birthday is exactly the same day. So with my birthday theme here, he was born the same day, same year, and he's another one of my brother. I've got my brother in Durango, but I have to say Bill Miller is my other brother. And then his wife, Andra, is an absolute saint. And I would say if I was to have a sister in my life, it'd be Andra. So I always call Bill and Andra my brother and sister in Laguna. Not a bad place to have a brother and sister. So they took her this weekend, and God bless them. I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for doing that, spending the time with her, because, I think it's kind of fortunate that she has an opportunity to open up a little bit. It's always hard talking to mom and dad, and so you guys are great. I know you went through a lot with your kids, and I think you were willing to take and bring some of that knowledge to this situation in my daughter. And I know she's grateful, I'm grateful, and just God bless both of you. You guys are the nicest damn people, and I'm so lucky to have you in my life. So thank you both to you, Bill and Andra. So I think with that, I think that wraps up my 59th birthday. Is there anything else I forgot? Did my Alzheimer's set in yet, or?
No, yeah, I
pretty
think
good?
you're still doing okay.
Yeah, I think I'm doing okay. So 59 years done.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, my darling, and thank you to everybody.
If we didn't say it enough yesterday, happy birthday
I'll
to
take
you.
it. Trust
Everybody
me.
loves you and appreciates all that you communicate and share,
I'm
and
just
all
trying
this
to-
beauty that you create. I mean, it really, as I like to say about you, when God was in a good mood the day that he made you. He was like,
Aw.
you know what? You can go through the line again. I'm going to give you a little bit more. I think he just gave you a few more extra talents than most of us get.
Oh, well, I sure enjoy using them. Let me tell you that. I'm not going to let them go to waste. So thank you to everybody who helped out and on the cooking and cutting and cleaning, and all of that was so wonderful. And thank you for
I would
all
like
the
to
birthday
say
wishes.
a special thank you to Rebecca for bringing garlic bread, Tori with her beautiful complimentary salad, and also to Phil Giltner for helping me with the calabasitas.
There you go. You
and
got
my
it
mom,
right there.
who does
Thanks
everything.
for all the well wishes on social media. You guys are great. And we will see you next week from High Point, North Carolina. Love you all. Ciao.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.